Let's draw this gift ribbon. It's a great value drawing and observation practice drawing. I'm going to start with a 2B pencil and a 4B pencil. That's really all you need. I do have an eraser stick that I'm going to use later in this, but you can use any type of eraser. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to number and letter my grid so that I don't get lost. I know there's only 9 squares on this one, so it's pretty simple. But sometimes I even like to divide the squares up even more. And because the other grid is dark, it will kind of cover up part of the ribbon, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. This is only for practice. I am left-handed, so I'm going to start on the right side. If you are right-handed, you might want to start on the left side. But what I like to do is I just like to mark out where everything is. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a mark where everything is. And I'm just thinking of things as shapes. And on some of these, I might have to divide my squares in half. So I'm just going to divide this little square in half so I can figure out exactly where the end of that ribbon is. And it looks like it's right toward the middle. So watch me as I just mark this out. I'm going to super speed this up just for ease. And just to know, whenever you're using a grid or you're drawing something out, this is the part that usually is going to take the longest. The shading tends to go a lot faster than the layout, but the layout is really important. The planning is important. You want to make sure that you have things placed exactly where you want them before you start to shade, because you don't want to have to erase a whole bunch of stuff that's already been shaded. So take your time and really lay stuff out. Another thing that you can do is if you just want to practice the shading, you can take another copy of this ribbon and just put it underneath the grid and just trace it. And that's completely fine too. If you need to trace some of those marks, that is a-okay. You should accommodate, modify whatever you need for yourself to make your drawing successful, especially if you're not a professional artist. Everybody has to learn and everybody has to start somewhere. Okay, let's start shading. Again, I'm going to start shading on the right-hand side. And what I've noticed about these little bits of ribbon is that they have pretty extreme darks and lights, and they all kind of follow the curve of the ribbon. So I'm gonna also speed this part up, but as I'm shading, I want you to pay attention to the extreme darks and lights. It's okay to exaggerate a little bit, but really look and think to yourself, where are the dark parts and where are the light parts? And if you move your pencil in the direction that your light is going, it tends to work a little bit better. Feel free to move your paper around. And as you can see, I'm kind of going in the direction of the lights and creating those shapes. So I'm just thinking about shape, but I'm just paying attention to light and dark. I'm not thinking of it as a ribbon as a whole. I'm just going bit by bit. As we zoom in here, you can see that I'm following the curve of the ribbon. So just kind of curve around your pencil and don't be afraid if it's not perfectly smooth. This is just for practice. You can always go back in and smooth it a little bit, but right now we're just kind of laying in the darks and lights and exaggerating them a little bit. Do also, which I should have done, put a piece of paper under your hand, especially if you're a lefty. I tend to smudge a lot when I draw, so definitely guard yourself. This is my clicky pen eraser I can use to add highlights in a second. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna just erase with this pen eraser. I love it. You can use any eraser though, but these are great. They're just like a pen and you can do precision erasing. And I use these as a drawing tool just as much as I use pencils. Another thing that I hear that students always have issues with is if they're drawing something from a photo and they can't see it. Like inside of this bow, it's kind of hard to comprehend what's going on here with all of the ribbons. And this is where you just have to use your brain. Just do the best you can, use your common sense, and use a little bit of artistic license, which means doing what you want to do in order to make your drawing look better. If you have to change it up a little bit or make a part look dark, or add some stuff, you totally can do that. Just do what you need to do to make it look good. Stand up, maybe step back from it and think, what does this need? And just go ahead and do it. I realized later in this video, as I went back to watch it, that I missed one of the ribbons on the left-hand side. See if you can spot my mistake. But I did manage to cover it up. So here's my final little practice sketch, and you can do this easily. You can get this on my website for free. Just go to the link at the end.